let's talk about market saturation. I held off on this one for a bit, primarily because it happened a whole lot during the holidays, and I didn't want anybody to feel called out. Because it's a totally legitimate complaint to say, hey, I did this market this weekend and everybody had the exact same thing for sale. And the reason I say that it's valid is because you go into a market thinking that you're going to be able to sell like tons of things, specifically bags and like laser stuff is what I focus on, but then you're like, 2 tents down, there's somebody doing the exact same thing. The exact same kitchen towel, the exact same tote bag. Oh my God, even the custom fabric. What isn't okay to do is basically call out people and accuse them of being copycats. Accusing them of stealing your stuff. But everybody's using the exact same very free wristlet pattern. The only time it's okay to accuse someone of being a copycat is in private, especially if they take one of your bag patterns that you sell primarily for charity and only did some little quality of life changes to it and then pitched it as their own. Well, anyway, whether you're accusing someone of being a copycat or you're just frustrated with market saturation in general, the underlying problem is that nobody's creating their own source material. Everybody buys the same bag patterns, the same SVG files for lasering, the same PNG files and fonts for Cricut stuff, and of course, machine embroidery files. I'm looking at absolutely everyone that goes to urbanthreads.com. This really does apply more heavily toward people who do machine embroidery or even like laser engraving and cutting. For bag making, we don't really have like files other than the patterns, of course. And even then, the number of times that I've had to remind people that there's only so many ways you can make a tote bag still rings true. Social media posts of people's makes basically turn into some sort of Tim Burton-esque Finding Nemo nightmare. What pattern did you use? Where did you get that fabric? SVG? PNG? Oh, and my absolute favorite from machine embroidery groups. What font is that? I'm guilty of this too. There are a lot of times people will post things where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that fabric. But in about 6 months' time, these will be the exact same people that come in and complain in these groups about copycats. So really, we can just summarize the market saturation problem with everybody using the exact same source material. But here's the thing, gang. It's hard to stand out if you don't have the ability to make your own source material. Some people don't have the money for all of those expensive art programs. I pay $50 a month just to have access to Adobe products. I dropped about $1,000 for Hatch Embroidery way back when they had their first version. And don't get me started on Clo 3D. I currently pay about $30 a month for that. You know, it's just easier to buy the files. So I don't blame anyone for wanting to go out and just buy the source material themselves. Thing is, if you go and you buy the source material that everybody else is using, you have no right to come in and complain about market saturation. The thing is, the walls are coming down that kept people from being able to do things like crafting. Lasers are more accessible now. Sewing machines aren't like all that crazy expensive, unless you're like me, but just ignore me. Also, let us not forget the year of our Lord 2020 when every single person on the planet wanted to figure out some sort of hobby to keep themselves from going absolutely bonkers. And if money isn't the thing that's holding you back from getting the software you need to create your own designs, maybe it's a skill issue. Again, that's fine. Not everyone is an artiste. I'm one of those weird ones who's both analytical and artistic. I don't understand it. I just, hyper-focus ADHD. But really, not everyone is able to create their own designs or their patterns because not everyone has those skills. All right, so I've complained enough about this. What are the solutions? How do we address market saturation and make ourselves stand out amongst the rest? First, if you got money and you're artistic, you can go and get all that software and then do your thing. Make your own designs. Be gone. You don't need to watch the rest of the video unless you like bad jokes and ranting. Unfiltered rants. If money's not a problem, but you're not an artist, then you can commission someone. Machine embroiderers will talk to digitizers, or the digitizers will find you and spam you all over Instagram. Ask me how I know. You can also go to art shopping sites like Fiverr and commission an artist to make the thing that you want. Mind you, you need to have an idea of what it is you want before you go into it. They're not mind readers. As much as we like to think that people kind of understand what's going on up here, you really do need to verbalize it. Otherwise, meh. And if you ain't got money and you ain't got technical art skills, you're going to have to make your products stand out against everyone else on the market by just making them look different. Use fabric to accent your bags and give them a different look from everyone else who's just going to whip out that wristlet with the one fabric. Hand paint the earrings that you've just laser cut from the exact same bundle that everybody's buying on Etsy. Use different shapes and colors of tumblers instead of the exact same freaking Stanley that everybody else is using. A way to stand out that does apply to absolutely everyone, regardless of money or tech art skills, would actually be quality. What's your workmanship like? Are all of your top stitches straight? Did you skip stitches and say, meh, it's fine, I've got 20 more of those to make? Did you sand those earrings before you painted them? Did you sand them again and paint them again? Did you use primer? Things like this, like just the overall workmanship and the care that you put in your product will make it stand out. Also, sometimes flashy and following pop culture trends isn't the right take. Sometimes people just want to see something very plain but classic, like a brown leather bag instead of Beetlejuice or Avengers Pico Pico Pico. You know what I mean, right? The little... I don't even know why that was a trend for a while. I'm not a prude, but it was weird. So these are just the mad ramblings of some lady on the internet. I'd actually like to hear what you all think about standing out and avoiding market saturation. What other things can people do, especially if they're limited in skill and finance? Because one of the things I will always stand by is I hate gatekeeping. It's never acceptable for me to come on here and say, hey, you got to go scrounge up $500 and buy an embroidery program. Or sell a kidney so you can get that sewing machine. Like, that's just never been my thing. Anywho, thanks for listening to my mad ramblings. Feel free to like, subscribe, blah, blah, leave comments, blah, blah, all that stuff. Bye!